the incentive motivation system or the dopamine system. This system is important for motivation as it's written, and for one to be motivated about something, one needs to be curious about that something. But being addicted kills your incentive motivation system to the point where you have no interest in any other form of activity that might be in your own best interest. Dopamine, after its discovery in 1957 by Caitlin Montague, was considered as the pleasure molecule. But later studies found out that this is not the case. Dopamine, to make it clear, is the reason why we get interested in certain activities, not the reason why we enjoy those activities. The euphoria we get comes from the neurotransmitters that get us into the moment, like endorphins or serotonin. Dopamine gives us the pleasure for starting out new activities, but has nothing to do with the pleasure derived from the activity. You know what it means to be high by the moment you're high. You know what sexual orgasm is by the moment you have sex or masturbate to the point of orgasm. Out of that, all what you feel is just a potential high, and only God knows the difference between potentiality and actuality. Not the difference between craving and high. Dopamine causes craving, while a present-oriented neurotransmitter like endorphin causes the high. Whenever there is a stimulus, dopamine majorly produced in the ventral tegmental area moves from one neuron to another through the synaptic space until it's reuptake to the originating neuron. It's the time span in the synaptic space that excites us and gives us this sensation of high. But dopamine does not produce the high. It is, as scientists have it, based on predictions and error. It is the difference between what we predict to experience and what we actually experience. It is responsible for you dreaming of paradise, but is never involved in that paradise. There is pleasure in the pursuit of paradise, but nothing great in paradise itself for dopamine. Dopamine is helpful for all that you expect of life, and it is precisely because you expect good things to happen in life that you think life is worth living, especially if the idealized future is paradise. Tell me, who will not want to die if the certainty of death is paradise? That is the role of dopamine. It is a good ally to move us into the unknown, but the same dopamine which motivates us to move to the moon can create an illusion that's completely out of reach. That's why an important evolutionary behavior like sex can get so addictive. But dopamine knows one thing: more. According to it, there is never enough of anything. If something is in abundance, dopamine will act as if it finishes tomorrow or in the next seconds. The most important thing for dopamine is to maximize the number of resources you have for the future, especially evolutionary important ones. And it does that by making the future look better than the present. Dopamine, however, is not a bad thing in itself. With less dopamine produced by the brain, we feel less motivated and more depressed. The problem comes when dopamine is mostly responsive to substances or behavior that are not useful to us, and that can even be fatal in the long run. It is necessary for our survival. We should not let it get hooked to the wrong masters.